Oh,
What's that, dude?
well, that's good.
Not that much,
Oh,
man.
you're happen just so happen to be wearing the same clothes from the last
You
2 days
too.
too.
That's
Oh,
crazy. I wonder why.
I wonder why too. Yeah, well, I think it's a holiday week, so
Something like
we're
that.
gonna
That
have
makes
to we're
sense.
shooting back to backs.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Broncos week, man.
The South Park Broncos.
The Broncos. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting week. This will be an interesting week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a lot of things that are in our favor for this week, and you know, you can't build your confidence too much, right? After last week, you definitely have some hopes, that you kind of see some good things that came out of last week, but on to this week, there's a lot of question marks, right?
Yep.
And I
Like every
feel
other
like,
week,
yeah,
a lot of question marks.
absolutely, but I feel like this week's weird because it's like, um, as of late, this Broncos team has won four in a row. They're actually playing very good football. Russell Wilson looks like Russell Wilson. Outside of he can't really scramble all that much anymore. If you guys watch the Sunday night game, uh, he doesn't really have the mobility to scramble out of the pocket. And he was getting chased down by linemen. So but he still has a deep ball, and the guys over there are playing very well. Jerry Judy is has been played very good as of recent, and Cortland Sutton has been playing very well. So this team cannot be slept on offense. On defense is kind of a different story here. As we were talking a little bit ago, they are dead last as a total defense as of ranking in the NFL. So they give up about an average of 400 yards a game and have given up 30 touchdowns. And the pass defense is you know kind of towards the back at 24th. So you kind of get some. You can actually, I think, move the ball through the air.
They're banged up in the secondary. But there is one thing. Stats may show you a couple things, but the defense have I think they've came around in the last couple of weeks. They're top 10 in turnovers. Um, turnover differential, should I say. They've been pretty good. Uh, I mean, they gave up a lot of yards on the ground to the Minnesota Vikings on
Yeah,
Sunday night.
and
Um,
I will say this, man. Watching that game, terrible run defense. Terrible run defense.
the
And
Browns should be able to run the ball all over them.
yeah, and looking at the stats though, they're last in the league against run defense, and it's not even close. It's not even close. They on average 160 yards per game, uh, and the Bengals is at 31st at 138, so it's not even close. So as the Browns have the second best run offense in the league, I could see us heavily utilizing the run game and really take control of the game that way.
Yeah, I think it's gonna all start there to just get our keys to the game going, or Royal Donuts keys to the game. Let's just run the ball. I mean, they're giving up big numbers on the ground. They're giving total yards. They're giving up a lot of total yards per game. I think once again, having a rookie quarterback in a hostile environment in Denver, which the Browns are historically bad at playing in Denver.
Yes, they are.
Um, I truly feel like this is a trap game for the Browns, um, meaning that it just feels as the momentum is, Denver has the edge, and you know how you take the edge, you run the ball. Um, there's not a lot of ways that Denver can really stop an offense when the ball. I mean, you're running the ball 4 or 5 yards a carry and giving 160 yards a game. Um, and I think that's where the Browns are best fit. This is it's the engine of their team. They just got to keep it on the ground and take what the defense gives them. Um, I think slowing down the pass rush of the Denver Broncos, which I mean, it is not the same pass rush we've seen over the last decade of the Denver Broncos, where they've been consistently full of stars like
Hmm.
having Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, Draymond Jones. Now it's led by Jonathan Cooper, a former Buckeye, um, and not really much around it. Um, it's a secondary that's really banged up. Like you said before, William Jackson was suspended to start for 4 games. Um, you still have Justin Simmons out there and Patrick Surtain. So still a lot of ball hawks out there.
Yeah, you don't want to throw towards Sertan.
No.
He's been very good this year.
Yeah. And I think our second key to the game is the defense. Our defense has to step up once again. I feel like this is a guaranteed key to the game for the remainder of the year. You're
Yeah,
asking the defense to win you a game when the offense is just like they've had to be inconsistent because you're having a different quarterback every other week. So when you don't have a rhythm on offense, you're asking the defense to get quick 3-and-outs and turnovers. And I think shutting down these big receivers, these big and fast receivers, and with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Judy, the Browns really got their work cut out for them. Um, just as Russ is starting to get his feet under him in Denver as well. They also have the number 6 run game in the league as well. So defense is going to have a big game this week for us to get another dub.
definitely. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a they're kind of hitting on all cylinders right now. Not at like the biggest level, but they're consistent and they're balanced. So I think that's the biggest thing of that our defense needs to look out for. Looking at this Denver team, and I would say the next kind of keys to the game, the Royal Donut keys, is man, just don't play stupid football on offense. Like I said, run the ball, don't have turnovers, and just be consistent. And also said just let DTR just let him coast, let him do well, get him in the nice groove like we did this past week. But also, I like to see him air out the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, I think is once again keeping it pretty simple for DTR. Um, I'd like to see him in a little more of the run game. I like the plays they drew up for him this week. They were, against the Steelers, they were pretty good, and they got you at 4 or 5 yards a pop. Um, I like to see a little more of that, a little more read options for him.
Sure.
But they're keeping it simple for him, a less decision making. Um, I would just like to see a little more shots downfield,
Yeah.
but ideally, you want to take care of the football in a game like this. Um, so I think we should roll over to our cowtails, players to watch.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to start off with MJ Emerson. Um,
Nice. I like that.
I think it's a big size on size matchup. The reason why I drafted them, yeah, you size Emerson up with Cortland Sutton, who's been phenomenal this year. I think that's going to be a big matchup in the red zone
Sure.
downfield.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to be I think it's probably going to be the best matchup of the day.
I agree
Um,
because if you take like say like you put Greg Newsome on him, the size differential is crazy. But having a guy
yeah,
like Emerson on him is matching up pretty damn well.
yeah. He Emerson's been a godsend for us, even when he's been. Since he's been drafted.
Yeah,
He's been pretty lights out. Um, he's locking a lot of people down. As far and just to add, on the other side, Denzel Ward is leading the league with QBR rating of 23.9 against Denzel man coverage. It's
that's crazy.
phenomenal.
That's
Emerson's only
like not heard
allowing
of.
Emerson's only allowing a 36.9. So
Jeez.
that just goes to show you how great our corners have been this year.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, but I think the matchup to watch will be between Sutton and Emerson. So we need a big game out of Emerson to shut down Denver's, number 1 pass catcher.
definitely. Yeah, another cowtail thrown out here is Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford needs to have a big game, man. he's gonna kind of need to put a lot of this game on his shoulders and make sure he gets the yards, make sure we continue to move the ball, and this is a perfect week to do it. Like as we talked about, the run defense on the Broncos, is not great, and had Alexander Madison look phenomenal, and Chandler look awesome, right? And those guys, in my opinion, don't even come close to our talent in our backfield. So yeah, Drum Ford. And you know what? Break it up with the other three guys too, because I think this is going to be a huge key, to continue to move the ball, win us this game is the defense, the run game, and have DTR just play some nice, consistent football. But it starts with the running game.
Yep. And I think the final one is kind of like a redemption cowtail, and the Chief once again.
Mm,
Um, I mean, we went over the stats in the last video. I mean, 5 drops that were key would have added 10 yards per catch, per attempt. I'm looking for Njoku to have a bounce back game where he's a big factor in our offense, whether it's a screen game or the downfield game or the red zone game. We need him
absolutely.
to be effective to have an effective offense. Um, he's kind of like our Gronk, basically. Like he's like our version of Gronk. Um,
Yeah.
where he's
Just
gonna
a
have those.
big body, like, kind of like charges over guys, gets you those
Yeah.
extra yards. Yards after a catch are phenomenal with the Joku.
It just and a team with a receiving core that is probably towards the bottom of the league in yards after catch. You need someone like Njoku to step up in that case. Um, you know, Amari's a little bit slower. He doesn't really do anything after he makes a catch. He kind of just goes down after the fact. Elijah Moore is a little undersized. He's
Definitely.
not really making uh, many big plays after he gets the ball as well.
Yeah, but he's clutch when he does. We saw it this
Yes,
week. We saw it in the
yeah,
last few weeks, actually.
yeah. But the yards after catch all come from Njoku. Njoku is going to get you the big bang plays um, down the middle of the field, and he's our big bruiser that we need to step up this week to get this offense going for DTR. Um,
Definitely.
all right. And then
Yeah.
finally, our Michael Lewis real estate games to watch. I know we ain't even had a chance to talk about it, but I mean, it's kind of nice to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of nothing but football.
Yeah.
Um,
That's true.
it it's it's going to be a good day on Thanksgiving where you have your normal teams. It's very hard for me not to say Green Bay at Detroit. But I'm going to roll with the. I think the best game to close out the night is San Francisco at Seattle.
Nice.
That's a toss up for the NFC West there. Seattle just dropped the game against the Rams, and the 49ers are back on a 2-game win streak.
Yeah, they
So,
look good.
yeah, it's a toss up right now in the West. It's hard to pick, you know, between those two because they're both streaky teams. But
Yeah.
the 49ers are more new and improved with the addition of Chase Young. Um,
Yeah. They had a
yeah,
sack and looked really good.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so if you're going with two, I'm gonna go with two. Okay, so this week's actually good. As last week we're kind of like, what's a good what's a good game, right? This week, and I would love just to see, and there's a lot of like divisional games coming up this week, right? If we look at Saints, Falcons, that's awesome. Chiefs, Raiders, but Dolphins, Jets, but I don't care about those all that much. But Bills, Eagles look pretty awesome because if the Bills start rolling and they can look good and look back to like what the Bills should be looking like, this is gonna be a really tough matchup because I think they match up very well. But I'm gonna go Eagles with that one. But the game that I want to watch is because this is a game that's in the division is Steelers versus Bengals, and I like to see this just because what we saw with the Steelers, I think is going to carry over into this week, and the Bengals. Obviously Joe Burrow-less Bengals. I would like to see them knock off the Steelers to get us another game ahead of them. So I'd like to see that. I'm going to watch that game just because I love watching, kind of see and analyzing the different teams in the division. And I think that game, weirdly, Steelers don't stack up super, super well with that Bengals team. But I don't know if the Bengals have anything on offense to basically be able to stop that pass rush. But I would like to have the Browns another game ahead. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to be interested in that game. But Bills Eagles is the real matchup that I'm really excited for.
All right. Well, I I
We're-
I really do look forward to both of those games. I mean, it's going to be a weekend of nothing but football.
It's a fun week to be a fan of
Yeah,
football.
I enjoy it. You're talking about turkey and stuff and mashed potatoes,
Oh my
and just
god.
watching nothing but the Detroit Lions.
You can't be sweaty over here, brother.
Oh man, trust me, I've been looking forward to this for at least 3 months.
uh, dude,
Like I've been talking
the
about it
older
like
I get,
every day.
the Thanksgiving's the best holiday. I don't care, dude. When it was when you were
Hands
younger,
down,
we were
hands
getting
down.
gifts.
You're you're telling me I could eat all I want and watch football all day?
And I wasn't
This
feel
is
bad
what
about it.
this is this is what God intended.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like when you're a kid, you're like, oh, dude, Christmas is the best by a mile. But now, when you're older, like, oh, dude, I get to watch football, eat a bunch of food, go into a food coma. That's like my ideal day. Like, that's what I dream about. So I'm excited for it, man. Um, but football, uh, what are you feeling about this week? What's your prediction?
Oh, well, like I said, I'm feeling like this is a trap game for the Browns. Um, they've always seemed to struggle in Denver. Um, it just it just seems a little destined for the Browns to lose this game. Denver's on a little streak. The Browns are on a streak, but there's all it's
It's a
the
lot of
stats
uncertainty.
really. Yeah, it's a lot of uncertainty with the Browns. It's like,
Sure.
whoa, sure, we just came off a 3 game winning streak in a big game against our rivals, but we're going on the road with the rookie quarterback that's only getting his third start, and he hasn't really had um a chance to like really prove himself.
Yeah.
Um I mean, he's still working his way through it, but the playbook's not open yet. Um and with a Russell Wilson and a receiving core that's really starting to catch fire towards the end of the season, I'm having a hard time like trying to think the Browns are going to win this game.
Mm.
So I'm going to have to go 20-13 Denver.
Woof. Woof.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, fun fact also that I believe they're staying out there because the following week we have the Rams
yeah.
in Los Angeles. So the Browns are going to be out there on the West Coast and West Coast time for the next couple of weeks practicing and such. But I do think obviously I think DTR is going to get a little bit more into a rhythm. I think after this week he feels the confidence has been built. I think Njoku is going to play better. I think this run game's really gonna run over this defense and play very well and keep us in this ball game. And I think our defense, I said might have a slip up or two, but uh, like you said with the stats with Denzel Emerson, these guys are good, man. And I don't think although Russell's playing much better than he has been, like especially last year and even the beginning of this year. But I think our defense is so smothering and he can't really flee like he used to. I do think we pull this game off and get a win on the road in a tough Denver climate. And I'm going to go same thing with you, but I'm going to go 24-17 Browns with the win on the road. I think if they just keep it simple and just do what they do best, they're going to win this game. Like I said, run the ball, a lot of dump passes. And I think if you run what we did against the Steelers with a few other down the field passes, I say we win this game. I think with our defense and our run game alone, I feel pretty confident in it. But I think confidence in DTR and really helping him out and making some of those bigger chunk plays down the stretch, yeah, I have confidence in this game. But like you mentioned, I mean, we always play kind of rough against Denver, no matter where it's at. It's kind of against the Raiders. We never play well against the Raiders, and it's
No.
just one of those teams that we don't see super often. So when we do, um, typically don't play well. But I think we're gonna win this game, and 8-3 looks damn good.
You ain't lying. I
Hell
mean,
yeah,
8-3 basically puts us in. I mean, I think the magical number right now is like 4 or 5. Um, I mean, it's been a like a mouse race, or a rat race, whatever they call it. Just there's a lot of teams that are just gonna like struggle across the finish line here.
yeah,
Um, the Chargers are banged up and they're not looking good. They just dropped 2 in a row.
yeah.
When they easily could have won both of them.
They're four
Uh,
and six. Yeah, making
yeah,
it in the playoffs is gonna be hard for them.
yeah. You got the Bengals who just lost Burrow. Um, I
Yeah,
mean, they're still kind of in the hunt. And then you got Buffalo, who's been, except this past week, they've been pretty awful.
yeah.
Um,
It's been bad.
Dropping games. Denver is in the hunt. They're fighting for a spot. They've gotten hot as of late. Russ is starting to find himself again, which is kind of scary. Um, you got the Steelers that are kind of holding on, doing their usual thing where they they just find a way to win somehow.
Always
Uh,
find a way.
yeah. Then you got Houston. That's
We'll see him
probably
in a
one of
couple
the
weeks.
one of the hottest teams in the league with probably the offensive rookie of the year and CJ Stroud.
Yep.
Um, and then I mean there's the Colts as well. The Colts are kind of just
They're not
hanging
a
around.
bad team. They're not a
That
bad team, and
and
we have a
they're
big
just hanging
stretch of
around.
yeah, we have a tough stretch down the road, but I think keeping out there on the West Coast is going to be kind of nice for them to get situated, and
Get
I
some more
think that
chemistry.
definitely, yeah, and I think this win is going to be huge. So, well, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next
Gobble
week.
gobble.
Gobble gobble. Go Browns. See you guys.
Go Browns.